Bentornati a Love and Soul, il talk show di My Life che racconta il cuore e l'anima dei personaggi più amati del self-help. Oggi siamo in una meravigliosa location, i Caraibi, e siamo in compagnia dello psichiatra più famoso al mondo, esperto in regressione e le vite passate, il dottor Brian Weiss. Salve dottor Weiss, come va?
Fine, Sonia. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Grazie per essere qui con noi a Love and Soul.
Yeah, a great pleasure. I look forward to this interview.
Grazie. Il nostro talk show vuole svelare il cuore e l'anima dei personaggi. Partiamo quindi dall'anima. Dottor Weiss, la regressione alle vite passate suscita un grande interesse in tutto il mondo, specialmente anche in Italia. Tutti i suoi eventi sono sempre sold out, tutto esaurito. Secondo lei perché?
I think people are fascinated by the soul, by something more in their lives. This world has become such a dangerous place, so much stress, so much tension, and to understand the nature of our being, why we are here, what's important, what is the purpose of our lives, to understand the soul, more and more people are interested, and every year I see the attendance at my events getting larger and larger,
Oh, yeah.
more and more interest. So it's very gratifying to me to see this.
Ma partiamo dagli inizi. Lei è stato direttore dell'istituto dell'ospedale in Miami. E qual è stato il suo rapporto con i colleghi? Come è nato il tutto?
When I first began, and this was more than 30 years ago, it was riskier than now. And so it was not the usual type of therapy. My colleagues did not really understand it, but the patients did, and they were getting better. As we would go back, looking in past lives, and they would get rid of their symptoms, get rid of their illnesses and their fears, feel better, understand about past lives, they would tell their friends, they would come in. So my group, my list of patients grew very, very large. And eventually my colleagues came too, but that took some years.
I can imagine.
Yes.
Durante la sua carriera avrà praticato la regressione tantissime volte. Quali sono i benefici più evidenti che lei ha riscontrato?
Well, there are several benefits to this kind of therapy, past life regression therapy. One is getting rid of symptoms that may come from past lives, fears, phobias, physical symptoms, pain, these things were caused in a past life, manifesting themselves in the present life. The person feels better, cured or healed, freer in life. And the other benefit is freedom from fear of death and grief, because people find out we're souls. We go on after the death of the physical body. We're always being reunited with our loved ones. So grief takes on a different feeling. And I think those two things, healing physical and emotional symptoms and healing grief, these are the greatest benefits from past life therapy.
E lei pratica la regressione su di sé? Medita?
I do practice meditation. I find that very useful for me and grounding, and it reminds me of what is important. It reminds me to center myself, to let go of stresses, to focus. I don't practice so much regressions with myself because I've had that earlier in my career. I've done enough of them, and for me it's now more a focus on meditation than on regressions.
Che consigli dà per vivere al meglio la regressione?
Well, I think anybody can try it. It's very, very safe. And so whether you're practicing going within and having memories, regression memories from listening to a CD or going to a therapist, if something such as a symptom is interfering with your life now, with your pleasure in life, your satisfaction in life, your joy in life, you can fix that with regression therapy. Sometimes, and I didn't mention this just earlier, it is in relationships. You find you're together with many of the same people again and again, and it helps to explain this sense of familiarity, of connection to other people. So this is another benefit.
E ora parliamo un po' di amore. Nel suo libro Molte vite un solo amore racconta la storia di Pedro ed Elizabeth che erano in cura da lei e pur non conoscendosi raccontavano dettagli di vite passate insieme. Che storia emozionante! Ma si sono poi conosciuti dopo il libro?
Well, actually, they met before the book is published. You know, there's a delay from when you write to being published, and they had met before then. And that was a very romantic story. But meeting soulmates is not always romantic. It can be, and that can be extremely powerful. But sometimes it's a parent or a child or a best friend or a sibling, and this is important also. These are also soulmate connections. And then sometimes it's romantic, and then it's very powerful because you recognize each other from being together in past lifetimes.
E come si riconosce l'anima gemella?
You can recognize in many different ways. Sometimes a person will see in a dream the face or features of their loved one, and then when you meet the person you recognize because, oh, I had dreams of you before we even met.
Wow.
And that's one way. Or a sense of familiarity, like, do I know you? I recognize you. I feel so comfortable with you. We're on the same wavelength, the same vibration. So that's another clue. Sometimes it's just surprise. You look into the eyes and you see the recognition. You know that you know this person at a much deeper level. And so all of those are ways of recognizing a soulmate.
Nei seminari è sempre affiancato dalla sua splendida moglie Carol, una grandissima donna, e siete una coppia molto affiatata. Qual è il vostro segreto?
I don't know if there's a secret to that. We've been together a very long time in this life, and probably, of course, in past lives also. But I think the secret is listening and understanding and patience and love. Because when you love someone, you want what's best for them. And as long as you keep that in mind, what's best for them, that love transcends anger or hurt or these kinds of negative emotions, then you keep a sense of the bigger picture, the larger perspective. And that is of great benefit in ensuring that the relationship is always nurtured, helped, protected, supported. So these are the important elements.
E posso chiedervi come vi siete conosciuti?
How I met Carol. Yes, when we were very young. I was, in the United States we call it a busboy. Busboy is like a waiter, but the one who cleans the tables, even less than the waiter. You know, cleans the dishes. Yeah, and Carol was a guest in the hotel where I was a busboy.
A guest star.
Yes, and so we met that way, and we were very young. I was 18,
Wow.
she was 17, but there was a connection, and that's that soulmate relationship again. And so I wrote, and we kept in touch, and we met again, and then it just grew because it was like watering a flower. And when you do that with love, then the connection gets stronger.
Oh,
so
I can see you're wonderful.
that was
both.
quite a few years ago, yeah, 1963
Wow.
that we met.
Wow.
Yeah.
E parliamo ora di sua figlia, Amy. Amy è una scrittrice, ha scritto con lei il suo ultimo libro, Miracle Happen, I miracoli accadono. Qual è il rapporto con l'ipnosi regressiva?
Amy is a writer, as you said, and she has graduate degrees in writing. She's also a social worker, she's a therapist, and a hypnotherapist. So she learned how to do regression therapy along with traditional therapy. And so she had a practice, she saw patients, and she was the perfect person with whom to write this book because she has the clinical background and the writer's background, puts it all together in one package, and it was great. It was a lot of fun working with her. It was a great experience.
Dottor Weiss, sua madre è ancora viva, complimenti, congratulazioni. E quando lei era piccolo aveva un gioco in particolare che le piaceva fare, un qualcosa, un'abitudine?
Well, it's funny, and
Sorry
thank you
for
for
asking.
congratulating me. My mother is 93 now.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't remember a special game. I played lots of games, lots of sports, but I always have pictures of me dressed up in costumes like cowboy, Indian, soldier.
So you
but
were
I
already
was
connected with the past life? Or?
Connected with these things, yes. But I didn't realize that at that time. I didn't know what it was. It just was, but I saw the complete outfit, and I was 4 or 5 or
Wow.
3, so very young. But perhaps connecting with other lifetimes even then, but not knowing about, not really understanding what that was.
E ora, per conoscerla più da vicino, ci permette di fare qualche domanda più personale. Qual è il suo piatto preferito e il suo dolce preferito?
Okay, well, these are the harder questions for me because most people don't ask them, so it's interesting. And I want it to sound, how to put this, very real because it is. But over the years, my favorite dishes have always been Italian food. As you know this, because we come to Italy and we love to visit Italy and to eat the cuisine of Italy. So these, my favorite dishes are usually these things.
Oh,
I remember, yes, no,
Thank
and
you.
I mean this seriously. For example, years ago I came to Italia to do a television show called Voyager.
Oh yes, with Roberto Jacob.
Yes, with Roberto.
Accogliamo con piacere Brian Weiss. Grazie dottore, benvenuto a voi.
And I think we filmed that in Torino.
Torino, yes, correct.
And I still remember eating the risotto in Torino. So like, wow, that was so good. The first time we ever traveled to Europe, we came to Bologna.
Oh.
And we ate in Ristorante Diana. You see, I still remember
you know the best.
Yes, and that was so good. The first time we tasted gelato.
Oh.
Wow, we don't have that in the United States. So all of these dishes were tiramisu. And, already I'm getting hungry when I'm talking to you now. But these are some of my favorite dishes. Now, in other countries, we traveled through China. There were great dishes there, and in other lands. So the food can be very, very good. But in Italia, it's
thank you.
beyond good.
Thank you.
Magnifico.
E parlando di viaggi, lei viaggia veramente tanto. Ha una città, un luogo che la ispira o che le piace particolarmente?
Well, there are so many cities that I connect to. Rome is one of those cities. We felt very, very comfortable there. Venice, one of our favorite cities in the world. When we were in China, visiting some of the cities there was incredibly powerful. In India, some of the cities there, Varanasi was powerful. And I have to think about this for a moment because the great Paris, London, so many, but as I'm talking to you, I remember Rome and Venezia and Firenze,
Of course.
Milano, Bologna, and Regressione.
Not really Regressione. Thank you. E quale posto ancora non ha visto e che le piacerebbe visitare?
Well, we're actually going to one in May.
Oh.
We're going to visit Dublin. We've never been to Ireland. And I'm very much looking forward to visiting Ireland for the first time. So I want to see that. We'd like to go in Southeast Asia more. We've been to China, Japan, India, Australia many times, but I would like to see perhaps Thailandia and Vietnam and those countries,
I love
powerful
those too.
countries there too. I'd like
Agree.
to see that. Africa. I'd like to go to Africa sometime. But most of the other countries we've been to.
Lucky you.
Yes, very much so.
E cosa fa nel tempo libero?
I don't know what is free time.
Già, che cos'è il tempo libero? Segue lo sport?
I play golf, so I enjoy that. For me, it's a kind of meditation. I play with Carol. We play together. We don't keep score. We just go to play outside in a
For the
beautiful
joy,
day for the enjoyment of that. We also follow basketball. I go to see basketball teams. I played when I was in school, in high school. So for me, it's like a strategy and everything, and I like that.
Yeah.
I read a lot. I read and meditation, but we really don't have so much free time.
I can
I wish
imagine.
we have more, but the traveling is wonderful. And when we travel and we're working, there's always, in between the workshops, time for visiting the sites or tourism, and this is important too. Even as we talk here on this cruise, I'm teaching a course in past life therapy on the ship, but when I'm not teaching, we're enjoying the islands and the beautiful water and the sky. So it's a mixture of work and pleasure. And
Yeah, that is
so
the best formula.
I think so. And a lot of our free time is when we're traveling. So I guess touristic traveling is a part of our free time also, yes.
Si descriva con un solo aggettivo.
Hard one.
I know.
Yes, hopeful, I think, is hopeful.
Agree.
I always hope for the best, and that the world can be the best that it can be, reach its potential. Hope that I can teach people to let go of fears and disabilities and hurt. Always hopeful.
Che cosa apprezza di più nelle persone?
In people, kindness.
Kindness.
Kindness,
Me
I think.
too.
Yeah, compassion. We're connected. All of us are connected on this planet, and we have to help each other out. And kindness is a very noble and very important characteristic. If everybody were kind, compassionate, the world would be much easier. So kindness, I think.
E che cosa tieni in tasca?
In my pocket, yes. Well, on the cruise
The
ship,
key?
very little. I have the key to my cabin. Yeah. But on the cruise ship, you don't carry money, you don't carry other keys, no coins, no nothing. So the only thing is,
Easy.
yeah,
Easy,
it's,
really.
it's like in a spa. You ask, what do you have? Nothing, just my sweats, just my sweatshirt. So on the cruise ship, it's easy to answer that question. Yeah.
Qual è la sorpresa più bella che le ha fatto la vita di recente?
Oh, recently, I don't know. It's always the people that I meet. Meet wonderful people, and that's always a surprise. We never know who we're going to meet next. We could be on this cruise, could be when we're in
I saw
Italy.
before during the seminar that you pick up a person from the audience in the venue. It was an amazing experience.
Yes, exactly, and that's always a surprise to me. I pick a person from the audience, a lovely man, young man.
Yeah.
He has,
What an amazing story.
3 important memories: childhood, past life, as a spiritual figure, and the priest. And that's remarkable and exciting. And that happened just this morning. So every day it's a
Really?
new surprise.
Che cos'è per lei la felicità?
Happiness for me. I think when I'm able to help these people like that, like the young man today and others, that makes me very happy. That's part of the purpose, part of what we do here. Not just our work, but our like a mission, a purpose.
Wow.
So, and you do that. Your show reaches people. I come to Italia with you. And so it's all like the same work. So when we help other people, that makes me happy.
Che cosa la motiva maggiormente ora nella vita?
I'm watching people open their minds and embrace a more spiritual approach. I know it doesn't seem that way in the world with all the violence and everything that's going on now, but I see people progressing. We always, because of the news shows, we see the worst. That's what gets reported. But years ago, we didn't know this. Something terrible would happen in Asia or Africa or the United States or Europe, and you wouldn't know about it. Now you know immediately because of 24-hour news and internet. But still, in spite of all of that, people are opening their minds. People are reaching out, and their hearts, and opening their hearts. And that's very inspiring to me.
Che cosa ha imparato di nuovo su se stesso di recente o meno di recente?
I've learned recently that I turned 70.
Oh,
Yes.
come on!
Yes, I'm still.
Where?
Yeah, I don't know. Everywhere, this body. No, you can say deeper down, my spiritual part is ageless, but the body is now 70. And so I'm not learning too much new about myself because I've been introspective and meditating, and yet here I am still doing this work, not slowing down as I thought I might. And there's a kind of wisdom that comes with getting older. When I was in China and these countries, they pay a sort of attention and homage to the elderly because they've acquired wisdom. They've become wise and can share it with the younger people. We still have to do that in the West, not discard the older people. Benefit from their wisdom, share it, venerate them. And so as I reach this age, I'm not learning that much new about myself. Just brings me happiness to continue this work, to help to heal people and to open minds and to heal them of grief. And that's going on now, more than any surprise. I don't surprise myself so much anymore.
You do, you do.
Thank you.
Bene, dottor Weiss, grazie mille per la sua condivisione. Siamo arrivati alla nostra domanda finale che siamo soliti fare ai nostri ospiti. Spesso si pensa che i grandi personaggi come lei abbiano grandi sogni, a volte è vero e a volte non lo è. Bene, ci condivida, qual è il suo sogno, del cuore o dell'anima? Ed è piccolo o è un grande sogno?
Well, I always think of it in terms of the soul. I would like, of course, to have even more contact with a higher wisdom, even more the other side, even more to be able to have a mystical state, a spiritual state, whenever I want. But it doesn't work that way. So I can like prepare the table, set the table and invite the guest in, but they don't always come in. And that is that feeling of connection to everything, reaching the higher levels, a spiritual state of consciousness. More often, and that's what I would want. I get it sometimes, yes, and it reminds me of everything, the connection that we have to all that is, to everything. And I would like that more, but it's a difficult connection to make all the time. I would like to have more, even more, to help people more directly.
Grazie, lei è molto amato dal pubblico italiano e ora, dopo questa chiacchierata, sono certa che lo sarà ancora di più. Grazie.
Grazie mille.
Grazie mille to you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Weiss.
Sonia.
Thank you.